Welcome to the Jeremiah Show, Grown Man Speaking. Allow yourself to listen with intention.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another enlightening episode of the Jeremiah Show, Grown Man Speaking. I'm your host, Jeremiah Parker, and today we have a very special guest with us, Leora Dale, who is renowned in the field of task management. Leora, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jeremiah. It's a pleasure to be here and to be part of such an important conversation.
Today's episode is titled The Price of Silence: Why Victims Wait Years Before Speaking Out. It's a complex and often heart-wrenching topic. You know, it's interesting, Leora, that we often hear about the initial shock and immediate response to trauma, but the period in between where many victims remain silent doesn't get as much attention. Why do you think that is?
That's a great point, Jeremiah. There are so many layers to this silence. First, there's the societal aspect. There's an immense amount of pressure put on victims, often indirect, to not rock the boat. We see it in workplace environments, family settings, and social circles where maintaining the status quo is, sadly, prioritized over individual well-being.
Absolutely. It's a heavy burden. I was reading a study the other day explaining how societal silence perpetuates the cycle of abuse. People are often scared of being ostracized or not believed.
Yes, and there are also personal fears. Fear of retaliation, uncertainty about legal repercussions, or even the fear of reliving their trauma. All these factors contribute significantly to the delay. Take, for instance, the case of a young woman named Sarah I worked with in a task management setting. She didn't speak out against her abuser for over a decade because she was terrified of what it might do to her family dynamics.
That's such a powerful illustration. It really highlights the internal conflict many face. I'm curious, though, from your perspective in task management, what strategies or frameworks can help victims to eventually break their silence?
It starts with reclaiming control over their narrative, which is something I emphasize a lot. One approach is to create a timeline of feelings rather than events. Victims can track not what happened, per se, but how they felt at various points. It shifts the focus from the traumatic event to their emotional response, which can be a powerful first step in expressing their truth on their terms.
That seems like a really effective strategy. It's about empowering individuals to articulate their emotions and understand their journey better. I imagine it also helps when they eventually decide to speak up, providing a clearer picture for authorities and supporters.
Exactly, and it's also vital for building support systems. Many victims hesitate because they don't know who to trust or where to go. Establishing a reliable support network, whether friends, family, or professional therapists, is essential. They don't need an army sometimes. Just one person who believes them can make all the difference.
The power of being believed cannot be overstated. It's often asked why victims didn't speak sooner, but less often do we ask how we, as a society, can create an environment where they feel safe to do so without fear of judgment or silence.
That's a critical question. Change needs to begin with education. Awareness campaigns can shed light on these issues, making sure people of all ages understand the importance of listening and standing with victims rather than inadvertently silencing them.
And education in the workplace is crucial too. How many times have we seen corporations take the side of the accused simply to protect their reputation? This type of environment both creates and sustains the silent culture.
Corporate accountability is huge. When companies put protocols in place to handle abuse allegations objectively and sensitively, they set the tone for how victims and their voices should be treated. But it's a systemic change that needs commitment from all levels of organization. The responsibility doesn't only lie with executives, but trickles down to HR teams and every employee.
I've noticed in recent years there have been more initiatives to address these issues, but it will take time. What steps can individuals take, both victims and those who want to support them, to contribute to this change?
For victims, finding and trusting their voice is essential, and that can start as simply as journaling or joining support groups. For allies, it's about active listening and advocating for victim support policies in your own circles, whether in workplaces, schools, or communities. Each step creates ripples that contribute to a more understanding community.
This has been such an eye-opening discussion, Leora. It reminds me of the power of podcasts like ours to spark these vital conversations and keep them alive in public consciousness. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
Family, if you've been rocking with the Jeremiah Show, Grown Man Speaking, then you already know this podcast is about real talk, real growth, and real men becoming better every day. But this movement only grows when we grow it together. So if you value the game, the honesty, and the wisdom we drop here, support the show by grabbing the paperback, the ebook, or the audiobook. Every purchase helps this platform stay independent, stay authentic, and stay speaking to the men who need it most. Hit the link, get your copy, and keep the conversation going. Grown Man Speaking. Listen with intention.
Just to encourage everyone to foster a culture of compassion and understanding, anyone can be a victim, and their journey is deeply personal. If we can be there to support them when they're ready to speak, that's the beginning of change.
Well said. Thank you so much for your time, Leora, and for sharing your expertise. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Folks, I hope you found this episode as enriching as I did. Remember, the price of silence is indeed high, but together we can work towards a world where that silence is no longer the norm. Thanks for tuning in to the Jeremiah Show, Grown Man Speaking. Until next time, stay hopeful and keep talking.
Thank you for tapping in to the Jeremiah Show, Grown Man Speaking. Until next time, move with purpose and listen with intention.